Hey everyone, welcome back to mHUB Inside. Today we're talking to an mHUB member, and this is Vel, and we're talking about the Zerno, which is a boutique coffee grinder that he launched and co-founded out of mHUB. And so we're going to talk a little bit today about how it works, what makes it so special, and then some of your processes and the tools you used at mHUB. So thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so first tell us about the idea for Zerno. Where did it come from and what does Zerno mean?
Yeah, actually, the whole idea for Zerno started way back in the beginning of the pandemic. We kicked off the company early 2020, and it came from, I guess, my personal need to have a really high quality home coffee grinder. Before that, I was using some bigger commercial units at home and they weren't really suited for that. But I really wanted that quality of the commercial coffee grinder at home, so that's how the idea came about.
Great. Yeah, and when you think about like for at-home use, usually most of us with our counter space, we don't have that like width to give up. It's like the depth of the counter. I think that's so smart that it could just tuck into a nook that you have at home.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And getting a lot of power in a really small package was actually really challenging.
Yeah.
There's a very, very powerful motor in this grinder, and everything in it is really engineered.
Yeah.
Like really tight tolerances, things are really aligned in it, and that's really where the Zerno shines.
Can you take off this piece for us? Because you were telling me about the blade a little bit earlier.
Oh, yes.
And it seems like that is super important to the grind that you get.
Yeah, so this one is designed to be taken apart and cleaned up really easily without you really losing your grind settings. So the whole mechanism is kind of enclosed in here in this knob, and the whole thing comes out, so you can clean it up, with the provided tools, and then you can put it back together, and everything is going to be, just the way you had it dialed in. But yeah, we use these really high quality burrs. The brand is SSP. You can go ahead and turn the knob if you wish.
Okay, here, I was trying to get the resistance.
Yeah, we tried to make a really smooth knob. Actually, the thread material is brass, and there's 2 ball bearings in there just so you can get that.
It can be super precise. You can line it up exactly where you want it.
Yeah, and the dial is graduated in microns, so you know exactly what's your spacing between your burrs.
Okay.
But yeah, let me take it apart and show you what it looks like inside.
And so you have a different grind on a French press versus a drip machine versus espresso.
Yeah.
Can all of that be handled through this machine?
Yeah, it can actually. So, the real difficult grind is the espresso grind.
Yeah.
It's because that's where your precision is really gonna come in place, and that's where a lot of other grinders sort of struggle. With the espresso grind, that's where the powerful motor comes in as well.
Okay.
So we can handle that.
Cool.
But yeah, this is the pre-breaker that we've designed. So this part actually crushes the beans against the inside of the grinder, and you can see this one's my grinder. It's got a little bit of coffee all over it.
How do you take your coffee?
Oof, I usually do black espresso.
Okay.
And then another one. Double.
Just make it a doppio.
Yeah. But yeah, this guy pre-crushes the beans and then they go into the blades. So these blades are actually the newest by SSP. We ordered these from Korea by a gentleman named Hansung. He's a really cool guy. He really knows his blades. They're called burrs, and these are in particular flat burrs.
Okay.
For a flat burr coffee grinder. What is super important with the Zerno, one of the things that are super important and super critical are that your burrs are aligned perfectly. So on the Zerno, actually the burrs are aligned within 10 microns, and that's something that is pretty unique to this grinder. We achieved it through both high tolerances and some unique engineering features. So there's actually a double ball bearing system that you wouldn't usually see in a coffee grinder. That's right here, and they're holding this shaft like really precisely aligned with everything.
Cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in it.
So tell me a little bit about, so you launched at the beginning of the pandemic, like just as a startup early stage. I know you guys are just wrapping your first batch of 86 orders, which congratulations, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Supply chain, there must have been issues in designing and doing iterations where you had to pivot and run in What did you run into? What did that look like for you?
To grind coffee well, and especially to grind light roasts, which is what a lot of the coffee drinkers are into nowadays, you need a lot of motor torque. You need a lot of motor torque, and we're trying to go with a really small coffee grinder. So the two things are actually kind of tough to achieve. And that's why we started building the motor driver, but the motor driver has to be just so. And the motor has to be just so. And with the supply chain issues, we just couldn't achieve it. They kept on running out of chips, kept on running out of motor driver chips, and eventually we decided to actually go with a regular DC motor that's bigger and that has a circuit board that's a lot easier to manufacture. I actually ended up making the circuit boards myself. Because we just didn't have the time to wait for them to be manufactured and shipped here and all of that. So I still purchased the boards, but then I assembled everything myself at night.
Yeah, were you able to do that here?
Yeah, I was able to do that here. mHUB has all of the equipment. It was really easy. I actually used the chip reflow oven one night. Cool. And it just turned out great. I was so happy that I was able to do that.
So let's talk about some of the other local pieces here, because I know a lot of these parts you've procured through local manufacturers.
Yeah.
The spring, the base, tell me what you want to talk about that's been kind of part of the Midwest ecosystem.
Of course. So since there were so many supply chain issues and the turnaround time for everything got so long, that we actually decided to try working with local manufacturers. I know that a lot of people do stuff overseas, but we're like, let's give it a try, let's see what happens. And we were able to get all of the machine parts for the coffee grinder locally. One big challenging item was the stand. So a lot of manufacturers, they saw the stand and they were like, we can't make it. The ones that tried failed, even the ones overseas. And I ended up finding a manufacturer that's actually local, that is really close to my place. And they were able to do this one-piece stand. So this is a 1/4-inch stainless steel, and they were able to laser cut it and actually polish it. And there's two bends that are super important. So there's a bend here and there's a bend here. The total should be 90 degrees, because otherwise your grinder is going to stand crooked.
Sure.
And they were able to get it perfectly every single time. And then they actually hand polished it. This one is mine, so it's been through a lot. But the production
ones, it looks loved.
Yeah, it looks a little loved, but the production ones are actually polished to perfection, and they were able to get all the bend marks and everything out of these, and they're polished by hand, they're finished by hand, so they turned out super cool.
Cool. Okay, and then this spring right here.
Oh yeah, so there's actually two important springs in this one. One of them is hidden in the pre-breaker. It's on the back, and it's a tiny spring that's actually really heavy. So that's a 70-pound spring back here. And this one was manufactured for us by a local manufacturer. Our goal with this guy was that the spring was embedded in the whole mechanism. So when you took it out to clean it up, there's no springs flying out or anything like that. It's just one piece. And they were able to make this really nice spring with just the perfect amount of travel. And that place is also local here in Chicago.
In terms of equipment at mHUB, right? So you found some local partners. We know you worked on the board here. What else were you able to accomplish in the labs here? Oh,
here in the lab, so we made the custom wooden parts. So let me put this guy back together, and I can show you the custom wooden parts that we made. We really wanted it to have more of a, at-home feel.
Yeah.
Since it's a very industrial design, and we figured that adding wooden components
warms it up a little bit.
Really warm it up, and that's why we made these wooden parts. And something that we did for our backers is we actually let them pick their exact one. So we took pictures of all of them that we made. This is olive wood. They're engraved on the back.
It's pretty.
Yeah, this one's actually my favorite. I really like the knots in it. And we sanded it here at mHUB. It's actually a really long process. So we cut it on a laser here at mHUB. We engraved it on the exact same laser that cut it, and we took it to the wood lab, and then we actually sanded it down to a perfect circle, and we put this little chamfer on it, and then we sanded it down again. And then we finished the whole thing here at mHUB. Or actually the little funnel cap. So this is the funnel for the Zerno. It's machined stainless steel.
Okay, the beans go in there.
The beans go in here. It's got got a nice heft to it, just like everything else in here. And then actually we got an idea from our backers to make custom caps for the funnels as well.
So cute. Do you want to talk to us about how it works?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So this is your coffee grinder. You're gonna get it actually shipped in this custom case. And the majority of the case we also made here at mHUB. No other coffee grinder ships like this in a custom case. And we kept this as a surprise to our backers until the very end. Until they started getting them and they started posting the pictures. They're actually super excited. They're like, oh my God, does it come with the case? Yes, yes it does.
I love it. It's a fun package. They're like, do we have to send this back?
Right. But yeah, the grinder comes in just like that. You take it out, you put in the funnel. There's a little set screw that I won't show right now, but that really holds the funnel in place. And your grinder is pretty much assembled. Then you can take out your custom Zerno cup. This is also made out of machined stainless steel.
Okay.
It is 360 grams, so it's pretty hefty. It's almost a pound.
Can I feel it?
Yeah, of course. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. And what is this used for?
This is
Like,
actually
this is where
your,
the grinds go?
Yeah, this is actually your coffee grinding cup, and it's weighted at the bottom. So your cup is actually a little heavier at the bottom, so it doesn't really flip over very easily.
Yeah.
So it stands very well, and it's got a little foam foot. The foam feet for everything were also cut here at mHUB.
Sure.
And the lasers are super convenient.
The
for stuff like
powerhouses,
that.
yeah.
Yep. So you also get your chute. That's where the coffee grinds come out of.
Okay.
And this one is magnetically attached. So you can just snap it onto your Zerno, if I can find the right place. Oh shoot, I grabbed
right there.
I grabbed the wrong one. I grabbed the wrong one.
Close enough, or
Close
you can go.
enough.
We can run and get it, but
Yeah, we
you get
can
the
run and
idea.
get it. But that's gonna be your coffee grinder with the cup and everything. So your beans go in here, and this is really designed for single dosing coffee.
Okay.
So you're gonna have a little scale or something else to measure out the coffee. Maybe you'll have some vials that are super popular these days. You're gonna have a rack of vials with all your beans pre-measured. Then you just pour on the beans, you turn it on, and ground coffee comes out.
Awesome.
And that's it. It's designed to be simple
Yeah,
and
I
to
can
work
see that.
pretty much every time. So I use it in the morning. A lot of times I get up, I'm in a hurry. I just want, but I'm picky about my coffee.
Sure.
I'm in a hurry, but it can't just be,
Yeah.
any coffee. So I want it to come out right in the morning, and that's why we built it like that. It's not very finicky. It just works.
Really great.
yeah.
It's pretty. It's a great design. Simple, works well.
Thank you, yeah.
And kind of a luxury product, and that shows, right? And how the attention to detail and functionality. So kudos.
Thank you.
I know you're working on. There's like a silver model that you did.
Yeah.
You're currently doing something in the shop, so we're just going to film you a little bit and shadow you by the powder coating station. You're doing like a clear coat on this.
Yeah.
And
Definitely, we're just finishing the last units from our silver run, and these were already powder coated once, and we engraved them with our logo, and now we're gonna apply a clear coat on them so we can protect the whole thing.
before we jump to that footage, tell people where they can find you if they're interested in Zerno and when you guys are going to do your next run.
Yeah, our next drop is gonna be in about a month. As soon as we hear from our early backers, that's super important for us. I'm a classically trained product manager.
Sure.
So I would love to hear from our users, how they like it, how they're using it, do they have any feedback. Actually, one thing that I heard is that they want a replaceable cable. So for this one, the cable is actually attached to the unit with this waterproof strain relief guy here. But they really want to be able to select their own cable. So if they want a black cable with the black Zerno, they want to be able to do that. If they want a shorter cable or longer cable, they want to be able to do that. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to do for the next run.
Make some improvements, yeah.
Yeah, make some improvements, and that's really something that you don't see when you're working on it with a small team. You're grabbing feedback from, your vicinity. You're bringing it to coffee shops here and there. But a lot of the times when somebody gets it in their home, they start using it, they really have like a lot of different ideas.
Totally.
Like the little cap on
I
top.
know. And some of them you listen to and some of them you don't listen to. That's great. So would people follow you on Instagram? Is there a website?
Yeah. People can find us on Zerno.co. My email is right on there, so if they feel like reaching out, they can reach out. It's val@zerno.co. They can also find us on Instagram. We have a pretty hefty Instagram following. We usually post a lot of our polished shots on Instagram, but there's also a Zerno Discord, so if they want to reach out to us and grab the Zerno Discord, they can talk to us directly there. It's a pretty big community. People are super helpful. They have all sorts of input there. So that's another great place to engage with us.
Awesome. Well, thanks for talking to us today about Zerno. Again, we'll follow you around a little bit here, but thanks for joining, and stay tuned to watch some footage of Val working in the shop, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.